Okay, folks, I'd like to call to order the Township of Lopatcong reorganization regular meeting of January 6, 2021 to order. I would ask that everyone bow their head for a moment of silence, please. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times, by posting a copy of them bulletin in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Yes, Councilman Del Caro.
Here.
Councilman Polito.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Council President Pryor.
Here. Here. Need a motion to come out of the executive session?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sure. Council is in executive session for approximately 1 hour. The topics of discussion are: number one, attorney-client privilege, Township Planner George Ritter; number two, personnel, construction department; number three, personnel, building and maintenance department; and an additional number four, litigation, tax appeal, I-78 logistics. The minutes from executive session will be available at such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Added to the agenda under new business, number 11, we're adding resolution 2021-38. A resolution of the governing body of the Township of Lopatcong to enter into a contract with Michael E. Hollenstein, MAI, for appraisal services related to the I-78 logistics tax appeal. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. You just want to be sworn in, so. Oh.
I think I got it. Yeah.
Hold the Bible. Okay.
Read that thing?
What?
Want to read off of it?
Yeah,
Back here.
Lock it down on the Bible, raise your right hand, please. I, in your name,
James Mayucci,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
justly perform
all the duties of the office of mayor
all duties of the office of mayor
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So, yeah,
So help me God.
congratulations.
Guys, wait 1 second. I need one for the Lord. Sorry.
Put the rose between two thorns.
Right? Yeah, perfect, guys. Thank you.
All right, hold on a second. Here we go. He hates it when I do this. 3 years ago, this room was absolutely packed. But standing before you tonight is 33 years of government up here. November 3rd, 1999, saw me making a phone call to a guy who I did not know. Matter of fact, Bill Wright said to me, he goes, "You're Doug Steinhardt?" I said, "No, he just really likes you." I said, "He has no reason not to." So anyway, as I've said many, many times, he took us on what I consider to be the ride of excellence for 15 years. And I'm very proud to be part of that ride for 13 of his 15 years. And then I abandoned him for 2. So anyway, in politics, you really can't, you know, it just is what it is. And you come out of it with few friends. If I called this gentleman at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, he'd be at the house and vice versa. So I truly consider him a friend. I wasn't going to call him tonight. To be quite honest with you, Lori Chesley said, "Are you having Doug do it?" But, yeah, I don't ask Doug to do anything anymore because he's running for governor. So, you know, to come here tonight means a lot to me. It was hard to believe the other day. Well, let's check our schedules. And then, of course, it gets his daughter T involved, who, quite frankly, when he first took over back in 2000, was playing with Play-Doh in Beth's office. So that just goes to show you how far we've come. This guy, and I can say this, would make an excellent governor. Get the word out, get it out to your friends, because I worked with this guy for 13 years. Very articulate, very talented, very much, you'll know where he stands. And when he came up running for governor and said he was a Trump fan, I'm going to tell you I'm a Doug Steinhardt fan. If anybody in this township wants to question me want it, they're more than welcome to do it. I think we formed a very good combination for a number of years. So, to my friend, 2021 is it. Hopefully this time next year, I won't be able to get near him. There'll be cops all over the place. So, but that's okay. I've often told him this. He's mentioned about running for governor for years. I just want to be in the back of the room and go, because I remember telling my ex-wife, very shortly after he took over, I said, there's something different about this guy. I want to stay close to him. So here we are, 21 years later. 21 years later, it's hard to believe that kind of time has gone by, but it has. So, all right. A little bit about myself. This is my moment. I've always wanted to be mayor of my township. A little bit I know I was going to have to wait 15 years for somebody to get out of the way. It worked out that way. It was probably the best decision for this township I ever made. 1998 saw me, or sorry, 99 saw me only on my second year. Bill Baker was our mayor. He was a good friend of the families. That's not rock the boat. Well, you know, I didn't run, so here we are today. I will tell you this. It's hard to believe this is the start of year, 19 for me. Just I don't know where it went, but 56 years ago, I stood on this property over there in that corner, watching my father get sworn in. One of the things that I'm very proud of, obviously, 65, 2021, we've run 14 times over that span. Somebody asked me last time I ran, why do you think you keep getting elected? And I said, I don't know. Maybe people see that name and they think they're going to get a fair shake. You might fool them once or twice, 14 times you don't get fooled. So tonight is the start of Mangucci year 40. Just hard to believe it. It's been an honor. It's been an honor to grow up here, raise my family here. It's just been an honor. I do it because obviously I have a passion in this township. Certainly don't do it for money. But I'd like to thank my significant other for coming out tonight. Allison, thank you very much. She told me to let you get sworn in. So it's to be expected. I don't know of many significant other spouses that really like politics. So I've had the honor of working with a large group of people over the years, from Matt Curry to Doug to Victor Camperini to Mr. Baker, and these four gentlemen behind me. Trust me, put a quarterback out in the field without his line and see how far he goes. Well, these guys are the line, and probably I'm going to say it's the best in Orange County, because it's just been a pleasure. We don't argue. We've obviously gotten some things done. There was a period in the township for 3 years where it was just miserable to come here. A lot of people were coming to the meetings for the entertainment. Wasn't good entertainment. That's why they were here. So it's back to work. Again, year 40. I don't know where it went. I remember guys like Ron Duchek and Ray Miller and Jim O'Malley. Frank Upton. It just goes on and on. Carl Melt. People you don't even know. Judge Kingfield was actually a councilman here back in the 60s with my father. Bob Mayer. It just is. There's a lot of history in his head. Not a lot of hair on it, but there's a lot of history in it. So anyway, my thanks to all of you. This room was packed 3 years ago, standing room. Obviously, it's COVID, so it stinks. I think we're all social human beings. We need to be out and about. I'm probably the only one in the county doing open meetings at this point, but I've always been a little different. So. Upward and onward. Thank you very much.
I follow.
All right, next on the agenda is a presentation, block 86, lot 67, Tim John, Andrew Kennedy on the Clifford Farm. Gentlemen, if you would, please.
Good evening. I want to take this moment to thank the council for letting us speak today and congratulate Mayor Mengucci on being sworn in tonight.
Thank you.
It sounds like you have a lot of great plans for the town, which is wonderful. So we're here to talk about the farm that's located on Belvedere Road. It is a 108-acre parcel of land that's kind of located roughly in the middle. And we're here mainly to educate and have an understanding of what agrivoltaics are. Agrivoltaics is the combination of solar energy generation as well as agricultural equipment, which allows the farm to continue to grow produce and continue to grow agricultural production, while at the same time generating solar energy. This is done via two ways. The first is we actually reduce the density of the solar on the site to about half of what it would normally be able to hold. Typically, a 108-acre field would be able to hold something in the realm of 30 to 50 megawatts, depending on the layout. On this site, we're looking at closer to only 20. This is done in order to separate the panels out and allow the light to actually diffuse down into the field so that it can continue to grow. The second thing that we're doing is we're actually adding agricultural farm equipment to the solar racking system and the structural system. So how it's built, and I'm going to walk away from the speaker, I'll just be loud. How it's built is it's actually built very similar to a carport structure, where you actually have a post and then I-beam racking here. And what you're not seeing on this drawing is the fact that there will actually be irrigation attached to these posts that will then irrigate the field underlying. And that same irrigation, because of its properties as a high pressure irrigation system, has the ability to actually also move fertilizer, liquefied fertilizer throughout the field, making it so that the farmer can actually manage his field in a much simpler way than before. So what we're doing is by combining those two things, we're able to get a much higher land use out of it, and we're able to keep this in agricultural production. The objective here is basically to be able to enhance the ability to produce green energy while keeping this thing a farm for the extreme long term. We're talking a 25 to 30-year term on keeping this in agricultural production. So this was more just to discuss what this concept is and what our current plan is for the site. You see two images here. One is kind of a down on the ground image that shows what it looks like on the ground. The other one is actually taken from above a hill, and this is what it looks like from the top of the hill, kind of to the northern section of the site.
Where in Belvedere Road is this located?
This is located,
Across from,
you can actually see it on the map.
yeah, right across from Rob Lane.
Yeah.
Right next to where the church is on,
Right next to
kind of corner from my mom,
The church has the soccer fields and stuff there.
right before Bellevue Road.
Somebody referred to as the bowling alley property. Okay, got it.
Has a road going right down the center
You
of
can see it
it.
pretty clear on the
Yeah.
map over here.
That's
It's a
like-
big yellow
Yeah.
rectangle.
Right, yes.
Going north on the right side.
The panels are actually positioned with a clearance of 15 feet that allows agricultural equipment to continue to roll underneath of it. And it actually restricts the reflection coming off so that none of this reflection will go into any residential homes or any sort of businesses on the southern side of the structure.
Is there anything like this anywhere nearby?
Anywhere nearby, no. The largest systems currently in the US are positioned in Arizona and Colorado. They are kind of more test sites. This would actually be one of the first commercial scale agrivoltaic sites. We're excited to have Lopatcong be first in agrivoltaics in the nation.
All right.
The first one in the East Coast or in the country.
No, this would be the first utility scale version of it in the country. The rest of them are only a couple hundred kilowatts in size, and they're more built for the farm's usage. This is built for large scale utility solar.
Any other questions? No? No?
I'll keep it short and sweet for you guys.
Sounds
Good.
very interesting.
That's good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, do we have any public comment on agenda items? Seeing none? Going to move into the reorganization part. Resolution number 2 is to charge for individuals requesting annual meeting calendar. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call that. Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menouche.
Yes. Resolution number 3 is to establish a cash management plan. Motion?
Motion.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menouche.
Yes. Number 3 is resolution number 8 to authorize interest to be charged on delinquent taxes.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menouche.
Yes. Number 4 is number 9, to authorize the tax collector to process and cancel any municipal charge, refunds, or delinquencies for less than $10.
Motion. Second. Whatever.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menouche.
Yes. Number 5 is resolution number 12 to appointment of council president.
I make a motion to nominate Joe Pryor.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, the reorganization consent agenda numbers 1 through 27. Is there anything that we want pulled out of there?
Number 27.
27 took out, right?
Number 27. Okay.
The 26.
That's it?
Well, I think on 16 and 19 and 20, we should say who the nominations are. Can we just pull them out? That's the easiest way to do it. Governing body appointments,
Yeah.
mayor's responsibility.
Obviously, the mayor is executive power of the municipality, presides over all the meetings. Council class 1 member of planning board. Council President Joe Pryor serves in place of mayor in absence, disability, or refusal to act. Finance committee, class 3 member of the planning board and liaison to the Board of Education. Mr. Belcarro is a liaison to the Department of Public Works, Buildings and Grounds, liaison to the Sewer Utility and the Labor Negotiations Committee. Councilman Wright is a liaison to the Police Department, liaison to Fire Department, and liaison to the Rescue Squad. Councilman Polito is a member of the Recreation Committee, liaison to the LAA, Municipal Insurance, and Fund Commissioner.
Well, the only thing I'll say, I agree with all those appointments, but the last 4 or 5 were council appointments. We should vote on those.
Okay.
And then you do have a class 3 member for the planning board. And you can table that for a month if you want.
Yeah, let's table that for a month at this point. All right.
Which number is that?
So we don't have to vote on what the mayor just, well, on his appointments. On the, he read the council liaisons. You've all heard them. Everybody okay with them?
Everybody all right?
I'll make the motion, we accept them.
Second.
And
I'll
then we're good there.
roll call that. Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menouche.
Yes. All right, on the new business.
Well, then we have to vote on the rest of it, right?
Yeah, you pulled those. So now you're voting on 1 through 27, except for you already voted on 19.
27 were pulled.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1 through 26. You already voted on 19, 20 didn't need a vote. Right? So
Well,
you're voting on
we
everything else.
don't really vote on 19, those are just his appointments. 20,
Oh, I'm sorry, governing body appointment, 16.
yeah, we voted on those.
16.
All right.
So
Yeah,
1
so-
through 26, as we just mentioned.
Need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call that. Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menouche.
Yes. Under new business, resolution number 28 is to approve a temporary municipal and sewer utility budget. Motion?
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menouche.
Yes. Resolution number 3 is resolution 21-29, renew petty cash funds.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you got
missed
number
one.
2.
You did
You
number
have to
two,
go
did
to
you not?
number 2.
Ordinance.
I'm sorry. All right, ordinance 21-01, an ordinance to regulate, control, and stabilize rents and creating a rent leveling board by the mayor and the township council, the township of Lopatcong, county of Warren, state of New Jersey, for an additional 3-year period.
Might, I know what it is, but for the audience.
Sure,
can
for the
somebody
audience
explain
is-
before we go?
Sure, your township rent control ordinance expires every 3 years, so you're up to expire in March or so. So this
February,
is
I think it is.
February.
Yeah.
So this is a renewal of that for an additional 3-year period. Nothing has changed other than to renew it. No terms changed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes,
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. Number 3 is resolution 21-29, to renew the petty cash fund for the police department in the amount of $250.
Make the motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
yes,
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. Number 4 is resolution 21-30, renew petty cash fund for clerk's office in the amount of $250.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
yes,
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. Number 5 is to authorize membership renewal to the Morris County Co-op at a fee of $1,100.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes,
Mayor Menducci.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to table number 6 and number 7. They are part and parcel of the budget. We haven't discussed that yet.
You made the motion. I'll second it.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call that. Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. We did 6 and 7. So number 8 is number 21-34, to appoint Richard Conley as conflict counsel for a tax appeal matter.
Make the motion.
I'll second that.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes,
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. Number 9 is resolution 21-35, to authorize a refund of tax overpayment on block 86.04, lot 16, in the amount of $1,652.70.
Make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
yes,
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. And number 10 is to authorize membership to Delaware Park Engine Company for Philip Campbell.
I will make that motion. I'd also like to thank, is it Mr. Hikaki?
Hikati.
Yes. It takes a lot of time. Volunteers are appreciated. Like to thank him for stepping up.
Very good.
And we need a second.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes,
Mayor Menducci.
And what's not listed on your agenda is number 11, which is the resolution 2021-38 that Katrina had explained earlier. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
yes,
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. We do have one announcement. We have a council meeting scheduled for Wednesday, January 20th at 6:30 executive session and 7:30 PM public session. Council reports. Mr. Belcarro.
No reports, Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You also. Mr. Polito?
Yes, the LAA at the December council meeting, I mentioned that at an LAA meeting, we would mention that the possibility for interest in the township taking over the LAA. We want to discuss that further.
Or they don't be bothered? They're
Uh,
done?
Well, no, there was a suggestion. And I said I would bring it to the council's attention.
It's in and out over the years. You know, but in the township's control, out of the township's control, in, now out. Quite frankly, I'm gonna be dead honest, I don't want anything to do with it. We can leave it as a volunteer board. I would certainly appreciate that. We need a lot of volunteers on a lot of boards. So if they're disbanding, then we don't have any, then we don't have any.
That's not the date, it was just briefly mentioned,
Yeah.
and I said I would bring it to council.
Gentlemen?
I think you're not gonna make a decision tonight, but pretty heavy. So,
They maybe should bring you a proposal of what they're looking for, if they're looking for something, so you can actually consider the,
You can take that back to them, you know, if they have some sort of proposal they want to present to us. So.
I agree with you, Mayor, that, you know, the township has enough business to conduct.
Yeah, well,
This
here's,
is a whole
here's the other
different
problem.
entity.
Yeah, here's the other problem, and they are too. We're absentee bosses. We just are, you know. And it takes a lot of effort. The athletic programs are just, it's big in this area. So, you know, certainly we're not going to disband anything, but by the same token, you know, can we run it efficiently as a, you know, as a board? And I don't feel that, based on what I've seen over my time here, it's very difficult. You know, one thing I don't want to get into up here is daddy ball, as we refer to it, or, or you know, my kids. I don't know that I'd like to myself to run the township and deal with all the problems. I would be distraught having parents call me with playing time and all that stuff. It's just, that's all going to come with it.
We should leave the government out of the sports. That's a whole different.
It's probably best, and yet by the same token, again, all of our volunteers, we've got a problem with the squad. Fire companies seem to be doing pretty good, but you know, our boards, our rent leveling board, and we have other openings. So getting tougher and tougher for people to volunteer with two parents working and kids and running the sports. So anyway, find out what it is exactly they want. If it's brought up again, if not, then we'll leave it like that. Anything else, Jim?
Just congratulations.
Thank you.
Forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much.
That's it.
Mr. Wade?
I really don't have anything. Just congratulations.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you. And that's about it.
All right. Mr. Pratt?
I have nothing tonight either, and again, congratulations.
Thank you. Paul?
A few things. First of all, I just want to thank the governing body for reappointing me tonight. It's a wonderful town to work in. I look forward to continuing my work with all of you this year and beyond. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just wanted to update you on the Baltimore Street Red School Lane project. That project is completed now. All the payments have been made to the contractors. So I'm working with Kim Brown on close out of that project so that we get this closed out with the Department of Transportation and get the rest of our reimbursement under the grant that we received for that project from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. That should take place over the next couple of weeks. By February, I'll report that task has been done. That particular project represented really the last of many capital projects in 2020. It was a very great year for the governing body. A lot got accomplished. With that in mind, we did have a meeting today to talk about 2021, and the mayor and council president Pryor were here today, and we basically discussed some ideas as to what our capital road improvement program should be for 2021. I don't think we came to a consensus on what it would be, but there were some ideas. I think there, with one exception, I think Bellevue Road is going to be one of the projects that will be dealt with in 2021. We have a grant, as I had announced in the fall, to you on that particular project. So there'll be more to report on this in the coming weeks as the budget gets shaped and we get some information from Kim Brown on the budget. One thing we did talk about today, and this is a recommendation of mine, to try to fast track the Bellevue Road project. It would be in the interest of the township to try to get the roadway surveyed and designed as early as possible. Right now, the weather is pretty good, so I recommended that we move ahead with the surveying work if at all possible. And talking with Kim today, there are monies to be able to do that. So that would require your authorization tonight if you want to move in that particular direction to get that project moving. This would just be the surveying without the design work.
Your budget in mind, Paul?
I told Kim today not to exceed $10,000.
Okay.
Among the mine is probably going to be about 7,500 to 8,000, but not to exceed 10.
If it's appropriate, I'll make that motion.
I'll second the right.
I think the motion's appropriate. Am I doing it at the right time?
Yeah, no, that's all.
You can do it, right?
You're roll call it.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Frito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Lucia.
Yes. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you very, very much again.
One, thank you. You've certainly been an asset to the township. I mean,
Thank you.
whenever I've called you, you've always responded. So that's really all I can say. We did have our planner, George Ritter, in here tonight. We are looking at the possibility of a redevelopment plan here in the township, and just looking to be as transparent as possible. Basically concerning the Phillipsburg Mall and some other properties. We wanted to know what the ins and outs were. Council was pretty comfortable with what they heard tonight as to what our advantage would be to do a redevelopment plan. We can control more really in the end of what actually comes in. So just to touch on that a little bit, there will be, if we decide to go ahead with this, there will be meetings involved with obviously with the council, and there'll be some public meetings involved also. So I know a lot of times people tend to, one of the things I found out over the years is, we inconvenience people, or we hit them in the wallet. They don't want to know what's going on. Or they wait till something's for the land is stripped. Well, this doesn't happen overnight. We just, I don't have a guy call me on the phone and say, I want to put a warehouse up. And there's obviously procedures that people have to go through. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And that's really it. I've said enough tonight. Chief.
First, congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you for another term.
Yep.
And good to see everybody else back from the new year. Last month, I did touch on some vehicle burglaries that were happening in the township. I just wanted to update you on that. As of yesterday, we were able to close that case out, and a couple individuals were held responsible for their actions in the township and beyond. So it was great work by the Detective Bureau and joint investigation with Lopatcong Township and Phillipsburg. So just wanted to update you on that. So not to put our guards down, but that those cases were certainly handled. They're in the courts. And yes, as of yesterday, we received delivery on our new patrol vehicle. So much needed, and it'll be going out for outfitting next week. Should be out and about on the road. So I
The one
appreciate
we
that.
ordered from last year's budget? Just the one?
That's the one. Yeah,
That long to get it?
they take several months. Yeah, so we ordered that I think back in April.
Yeah.
Just receiving delivery now. So much needed, and but I appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Motion to approve department reports.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, questions, comments?
I'm just going to unmute for a second in case there's anybody online. Okay. Okay, everybody should be unmuted. If there's anyone online who wants to speak, you have to unmute yourself, and then you can speak. Mr. DeMasi or Mr. Betts are the only ones online. Hearing none, I'm going to mute you again. Okay.
Motion? Whoops, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm using the 608 Avenue A property.
Yes,
And first, congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
thank you.
You're elected. I'm just wondering if you had a chance to talk to my neighbor, Mr. Bud.
I have not had a chance to talk to Mr. Bud.
I had actually talked to him, Mayor, and he was actually supposed to come to the building today,
Okay.
but he didn't come today while we were here.
And to be honest with you, I mean, I've known Jack, but softball with Jack the whole 9 yards. I don't know how much I can get involved with 3 separate entities there trying to privately sell, other than the fact that, the township abandoned that alley probably back in the 50s. Mr. Johnson had actually given me copies of some deeds and whatnot.
Yeah.
But legally, my hands are more than likely tied. It's a very ugly situation for those of you trying to sell. I know I would personally be very upset about it.
Yes.
It's
Full spot, I'd like to sell my house.
it's gotten litigious. So once that happens, then it's,
Okay, I just have a question for the
engineer, it's just, it's a paved driveway
Yep.
that I maintained for 30 years.
Yep.
It was there before me, it was paved before me.
Yep.
Half that driveway is on Mr. Bud's property,
Right.
the way it's surveyed right now, which had to be the way it was when that was paved.
Yeah.
A permit had to be pulled to pave that driveway, I would imagine, to the township. Permissions had to be granted. I'm thinking, Mr. Bud had to been asked, is it okay to pave access? And the driveway literally goes from 608 right up to the northern edge of my property and stops specifically for access to my right of way. It's not like it goes the alley going all the way down to the next street. It was paved.
If Mr. Bud's survey is right, that is the edge of the alley. I mean, alleys are typically 20 feet. Well, yes. And usually when something is, you have to say, 10 feet goes to one other, 10 feet goes to the other. The issue is, I don't think Mr. Bud really even thought his property had happened.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
And if you go 20 feet from his property line, somebody's losing a porch.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's,
Okay, well, I mean, I did get an attorney.
Yeah.
Mr. Edelston.
Okay.
He's gonna help me, but thanks for your help for what you
Yeah,
can
I
do.
mean,
I appreciate
to what
it.
extent that we can help, we will.
Okay.
It's a very odd situation.
Okay, all right. I want to say.
If I ever
thank
go
you.
to sell my property, I might say, I don't think I will, but yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else, questions, comments? Seeing none, need a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.